Part 1, the morning fight. Let's start with the map. Union brigades are blue rectangles, rebel brigades are gray rectangles. And here is Culp's Hill, Baltimore Pike, and Cemetery Hill. Cemetery Hill is the core of the Union position. Baltimore Pike is the Union supply line back to Westminster, and a line of retreat if needed. The evening before, Confederate troops seized part of the U.S. fortifications at Culp's Hill, at the southern end here. These were left empty because the troops that held them were moved south during the fighting on the 2nd to reinforce the Union left around the wheat field and Little Round Top. Culp's Hill was the 12th Corps' responsibility, and General Slocum, the 12th Corps commander, wanted to take those positions back. So there was a plan for a U.S. artillery bombardment before dawn, followed by an infantry attack to take back the lost positions. On the Confederate side, on the evening before, this is the evening of the 2nd, General Lee ordered General Ewell to attack Culp's Hill at dawn. And for context, General Lee had 3 infantry corps commanded by Generals Longstreet, Hill, and Ewell. General Ewell had his corps on General Lee's far left at the very northern end of the battlefield. And Lee wanted a simultaneous attack on the Union right and left flanks, and so he ordered Ewell to attack Culp's Hill early in the morning at the same time as an attack Longstreet was supposed to make on the other end. In a moment, I'll show you an elevation profile from Google Earth. The line the profile follows runs here, from Rock Creek over Culp's Hill and Cemetery Hill to Taneytown Road. And here's the elevation profile. East is on the right, west is on the left. Ewell's troops would attack east to west up that steep hill against a fortified line at the top. And maybe you remember General Ewell had already attacked Culp's Hill without success, so he added 4 more brigades to the attacking force. And Stephen Sears writes in his book Gettysburg that this effectively doubled what was used the day before, on July 2. But on the 2nd, Culp's Hill was defended by a single Union brigade, Greene's brigade, and on the 2nd, Greene's brigade held the hill all day against attacks by Johnson's division. The Confederate attacking force was now being doubled, but overnight the entire Union 12th Corps had returned to Culp's Hill, and Bradley Gottfried in his book, The Maps of Gettysburg, wrote, "These additional troops, coupled with the strong breastworks created during the night of July 2 and 3, made Culp's Hill all but impregnable." Unquote. I'll start the animation. General Ewell's attack went off as planned just before dawn. 3 brigades attacked, and then about a half hour later, Ewell learned that the attack by Longstreet's corps was postponed until after 9 a.m. And remember, the plan was for Longstreet and Ewell to attack the 2 ends of the Union line together. Ewell now expected Longstreet's attack to go ahead by 10 a.m., and so he ordered his troops to continue their attack until that time. It's hard to pick apart the different attacks Ewell's troops made against Culp's Hill. After-action reports from the Confederate side are skimpy, and Harry Fans in his book Gettysburg, Culp's Hill, and Cemetery Hill created an outline that breaks down the Confederate effort in the morning fight into 3 separate attacks, and I'm following his lead. About 5:30 a.m., C. Smith's brigade coming south as reinforcements. They were guarding Lee's left and were replaced by Stuart's cavalry. At about this time, Stuart's cavalry are on their way east from Gettysburg on York Road to meet up with Gregg's Union Cavalry Division at East Cavalry Field. The cavalry fights are covered in Part 3. Rhodes's Confederate brigade had moved to Culp's Hill during the evening. After the sun rose, General Rhodes got a look at the position, and his candid observation is telling. The hill in front of this position was, in my opinion, so strong that it could not have been carried by any force, unquote. And anyway, that first attack at dawn was unsuccessful. See this blow-up of the map. Culp's Hill is here, Cemetery Hill here, Rock Creek to the east of Culp's Hill, Baltimore Pike to the west of Culp's Hill. And notice the contour lines and see the saddle, which looks like it's maybe 20 feet below the lower summit, and see the two little creeks running down out of the saddle on the east and south sides. The division commander for the Union troops on the summit was Brigadier General John Geary. Side note, according to Wikipedia, back before the war, John Geary was the first ever mayor of San Francisco, and Geary Street is a prominent street today that runs past Union Square, and then after the war, Geary became governor of Pennsylvania. General Geary felt the greatest threat to his position on Culp's Hill was that saddle between the two hills, and that was where Geary concentrated his forces. The second Confederate attack went forward about 8 a.m., and C. O'Neill's brigade attacking up the center, and then later Walker's brigade supported on the right. Shortly after 9 a.m., C. Shaler's brigade from 6th Corps moved north to support General Geary. Regiments from Shaler's brigade were put into the line as relief units, and Edwin Coddington, in his book, The Gettysburg Campaign, described the process. When regiments withdrew, they could reform in hollows to the rear of the battle line to rest, after first cleaning their rifles and replenishing their supply of ammunition. Upon returning to their former positions, they would rush over the brow of the ridge, while the men being relieved would filter quickly through their ranks to the rear. In this manner, the main line was always occupied by relatively fresh troops with clean rifles and full cartridge boxes, who could sustain a curtain of fire without a let-up." Unquote. Sometime between 9 or 10 a.m., General Slocum, the 12th Corps commander, after seeing one attack after another thrown back, sensed the rebels were weakening, and General Slocum ordered an attack on the south end of his line, here, to recover the breastworks the Union lost the night before. This order went to the division commander, Brigadier General Ruger, and Ruger knows the position in question is strongly held, and he objects. Ruger and Slocum compromise on a recon by 2 regiments from Colgrove's brigade, and the order is passed on, verbally. And things start to get complicated. The order is garbled and then passed on to a regimental commander, Lieutenant Colonel Mudge, who can't believe what he's hearing. Mudge asks that the order be repeated. The order is repeated, and Colonel Mudge is quoted as saying, "It is murder, but it's the order." Unquote. The 2 regiments make the attack and are slaughtered. Colonel Mudge was killed in the attack, and Stephen Sears reports the 2nd Massachusetts suffering 43% casualties, and the 27th Indiana 32% casualties. According to Stephen Sears, General Lee never notified Ewell that Longstreet's attack was postponed again, and General Ewell continued pushing his troops forward. The 3rd attack was about 10:30 a.m. on the Confederate left. Stewart's brigade, supported by Daniel's brigade on their left, and then later by Walker's brigade on the right. And this attack was also unsuccessful, and the fighting at Culp's Hill died down then around noon.